where was I even going with this? I just want to share where I've been at and what I've been learning, and how, oh my God, it's so important for us to just release and surrender and stop living in fight or flight mode when something outside of us does not go how we want it to go. Are we gonna take that in our stride, or are we gonna let that fuck us up and keep continuously perpetuating the negative thoughts that then signal our body, our hormones, to say either we good or we not good? What's good, everyone? Welcome back to this space with me, Nav. I make videos about spirituality, tuning into your higher self, loving yourself, and everything in the world. It feels like I haven't sat down to film in a really long time, but I think it's just because it's been 2 weeks since I've sat down. But it always feels so good when I sit down, and also it always feels really awkward at the beginning, so I need to start doing it again more regularly. What do I want to talk about today? So, if you've been staying in tune with my channel, a lot has happened recently, and I thoroughly believe that all challenges in our life are to help us grow and ascend and upgrade. And I have had a few challenges recently that have helped me evolve so deeply and allowed for opportunities for growth and change. One of those things being not being able to go on my trip to Bali as planned, and through that finding absolute peace, fulfillment, and acceptance for where I'm at right now, and just knowing that everything is completely divine and I am exactly where I need to be at exactly the right time. And I'm just holding my water bottle if you're curious. Water bottle, I love you. So staying here just meant that there was more space for me to do a bunch of things that I wouldn't have been able to do when I would be in Bali. Each has its positives. Being in Bali would have been absolutely amazing, and I would have been doing and growing in ways that I couldn't do here, and vice versa. I will be doing and growing in ways that I couldn't be there. And it has, the past few years of my life have really shown me that it doesn't matter where you are in the world. And this means geographically, you don't have to do your spiritual growth in places like Bali or Costa Rica or Mexico, I don't know, any place that you kind of are just like, no, when I get to there, I'll start doing my meditation, I'll start doing my yoga, I'll start doing my spiritual growth. That shit happens right here in this field of your life and living in your mundane situations and finding your spiritual growth through that, because that is such a powerful way to grow through your experiences. It's like when we think about monks going to the mountains to find peace and solace and meditate. That's not easy by any means. That growth is not easy. But there is also the removal of all of these day-to-day stresses and day-to-day stimuli that we have here in this life and this existence that they're doing roadworks and my window is open. Do I close it? I'm gonna close it. Drats. So, wow, it's much more quiet. The day-to-day stresses and stimuli that we experience here, and actually finding it within ourselves to take the things that we have learned during our meditation, or even sit down to meditate at all, within all that noise, that is powerful. That is so powerful. Here's the thing. I know that there are 100% toxic situations and spaces that people definitely need to be rid of to progress and grow, because I have been in that situation. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to be in a different country, or at this like meditation retreat. Those things are amazing and those things do create growth, but you can also begin your journey in your space, in your country that you are in right now. Remove yourself from the toxic environment. That's so important. But as I say, removing yourself doesn't necessarily mean you go all the way to the other side of the world. I have found such healing in allowing myself to not necessarily associate negative experiences that have happened in my life, specifically with the country that I'm in, specifically with the city that I'm in, because oh wow, it's really warm now. It's actually really hot. Open the window. So aside from that little tangent about the growth and your placement in the world, I say all of this because I surrendered and accepted I was going to be in the UK, I was going to be in Scotland for my birthday, and I was just like, I am in a much more amazing situation now in my life than I have ever been. So fuck, I didn't get to go to Bali, but that's not going to stop the things that I've learned. That's not going to stop me putting into practice the things that I have learned on this entire journey. I'm not just going to put those things in practice when I go to Bali. I'm going to put those things in practice right now, right here, in this situation where it was very difficult to be like, okay, well, that's not happening. And those are the moments, those are the times that our tools that we learn come in handy the most. I'm going to take a sip of water. Overexposure. Oh my god, I look naked. Overexposure. Underexposure. There you go. So, I realized, I know that everything happens for a reason. Everything is so divine. Just if we give ourselves a moment to be like, how interesting that this has happened. I wonder why this has happened. 1 second. What is the divine reasoning behind this? And for me, I realized a few things. I have been almost like wrapping up my time here in the UK, ready for travel again. However, forgetting that there are a few essential things that I have needed and wanted to do that are, for me, because I'm from the UK, only really able to do in the UK. So I took this as a sign and a reminder, oh, I can't leave to go traveling yet. I need to get my driving license. Oh, I want to explore the UK. If I fuck off to the other side of the world, I will not be coming back here and then spending 3 or 4 months traveling around the UK. It's time to do that right now, you know? And things like, okay, this is going to be wild for so many people, but I've never been to a festival before, and I would love to go to a festival. And this festival actually came up and I've started volunteering at, which is super fun. It's not like you go and camp out at the festival kind of thing, but it is a very beautiful art festival in Edinburgh called Hidden Door, and the location that they have chosen this year is insane. And so this building has been abandoned since 1960. I'll put a picture of the building here actually, and this is all just a side note. And it is, I have walked past it for the past few years that I've been here. I've been like, what is this building? What are they using it for? I want to see inside it. What the hell? And I have been able to get inside the building and explore and help out with like the restoring of it. And it's just such a blessing that I would not have been able to experience if I wasn't here. Finding the bright side of any situation. Why is that such a bad thing? You know, so another thing, if I was in Bali, I wouldn't be doing this. I've started Dr. Joe Dispenza's intensive and progressive course, and I have already learned so much, and you know, I just would not have been able to do that if I was away in Bali. And I feel that that has come in divine timing. And why did I just mention that? I was going to tell you that's something that Joe Dispenza says. If I remember, I'm going to put it as a caption here, but it's very relevant that I remember actually. Okay, it's gone, because I just started getting excited about the course. I have learned so much in this course already, and it is just showing me. Okay, I've just remembered what it was. So Dr. Joe talks about when we are in a negative state of mind, what tends to happen is the negative state of mind is a state of mind of stress. And through that stress, we are releasing stress hormones. Our bodies, when we continuously live in that state, our body gets addicted to those stress hormones. There's chemicals being released into our body that our cells are so used to feeding off of, that when we don't feel that, we're like, what's happening? Well, I need to reinforce reasons to be in this stressed state in order to keep feeding my body these stress hormones that it is addicted to. And so that is why we tend, I remember writing something on this years ago, we tend to feel in our whatever down mood, and we don't want anyone to talk us out of it. We want to remain in that state. And he talks about okay, no, I shouldn't. Maybe I'll save that for another video. Or is it in this video? So I've just been learning a lot from this Dr. Joe Dispenza course, and I really do want to share more about it. But I'm not too sure particularly what this video is about. Do you know what? I think it's just about literally just finding the bright side of any situation. And you know what? That thing that I just stopped explaining, I'm going to explain. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about, let's say, this is what happens with human beings. Let's say something negative happens to you and it affects your mood. Normal, right? It affects your mood and you just go on with your day. The shitty thing happened and you're moody, and someone's just like, what's happened? Are you okay? And you're just like, oh, this thing happened to me like earlier today, so I'm feeling really angry and pissed off about it. And that person's just like, yeah, cool, so fair. And then that's called a mood. And let's say 6 months down the line, you're still being affected by this one thing that happened at this time 6 months ago, and people are just like, this is literally how Joe tells the story. Dr. Joe, sorry. What's this guy's problem? Like, what's up with them? Like, they are cranky. And they're just like, oh, this thing happened to them 6 months ago. And basically, they're still feeding off those chemicals. They're still in that stress response. 6 months on, feeling that same mood, it then becomes your temperament. Now, let's say 15 years later, you are still living in that state of stress, in that same mood, that same temperament, from that event that occurred that many years ago. That then becomes your personality. People are like, what's that dude's issue? Why are they so angry all the time? It's like, that this thing happened to them 15 years ago and they still haven't been able to get over it. Yes, tough things happen in our lives. Life-changing things happen in our lives. But ultimately, we do have the will within us to decide how we are going to let that affect us, how long we are going to let it affect us, how we will move forward from it, how we will then continue to experience life. Do we want to feel that negative emotion? Do we want to feel in that stress, fight or flight response all the time, feeding our body these chemicals, these hormones that are so detrimental to our health? Because what happens is, so our body is, I'm going to get my notes. Okay, I'm just going to read directly from my notes because this is so important to, for me to share in my learning and in my understanding of how we function in this world and how we create dis-ease in our body. Disease is literally dis-ease, lack of ease in the body. So we live in two states of being, either survival or creation. So this is something I have learned firsthand through living in survival mode, and how my creative mind, my mind that could learn and retain information, was zilch. I couldn't read, I couldn't take anything in. And that is because your body is telling your mind, all our energy needs to go to our survival right now. All our energy needs to go to protecting, being vigilant of what's happening on the outside. Basically, all organisms in existence can survive with can survive tolerating short-term stress. the long-term effects of stress hormones basically dysregulate the genes in our body. It's because we are not supposed to be in those levels of stress. So those hormones are literally those, when we are in stress, we are telling our body we are not safe. And those hormones, those chemicals that we are releasing into our body, our cells, our genes are not supposed to be experiencing, are not supposed to be exposed to that level of chemical, to that chemical for that length of time. And that is what creates dis-ease in our body. And if we are able to, oh my gosh, I can't. Okay. Guys, I could go on about all the things that I have learned in this course, but I think I should just stop there and just share that. Where was I even going with this? I just want to share where I've been at and what I've been learning, and how, oh my God, it's so important for us to just release and surrender and stop living in fight or flight mode when something outside of us does not go how we want it to go. Are we going to take that in our stride, or are we going to let that fuck us up and keep continuously perpetuating the negative thoughts that then signal our body, our hormones, to say either we good or we not good? Remember that your thoughts are literally creating, they become chemicals that we release into our body that signal our body to do what it gotta do. Take shit in your stride. Recognize the divinity of all things that occur in your life. The challenges are your teachers, are your lessons. Okay, guys, I must leave it here because maybe I'll jump into it in the next video. But you know what I would love from you guys? I would love for you to comment in the section down below if you resonate with any of this, if there's particular things that I mentioned here that you want me to talk about more. I am literally learning about this so in depth because I have been practicing similar practices throughout my life to help me reach the next stage, to help me achieve my dreams, but I am now getting explanations as to why that worked, scientific explanations as to why this has worked, and it is absolutely, positively amazing. It's opening my mind, and as Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about, when you learn new things, you are literally creating new connections in your mind. We need to step into the unknown because the unknown is where we grow, because when we live in the known, we are constantly just living in autopilot. Because why do we need to be aware and conscious when we know what's happening next? Okay. If this video was helpful to you in some way, if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. It helps to support me to get my creations and words out to people that might relate, that might want to learn this stuff. Also hit subscribe and the notification bell, because when you log on to YouTube and I have a new video out, you'll get a little notification in your little bell section. Nav Moon, new video. What's she talking about this time? Yeah, share it if it was helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for listening to my ramblings. Peace, guys.